National Committee is suing New York City and its brand new mayor, Eric Adams, tonight as a new law allowing more than 800,000 non-citizens to vote as soon as next year's municipal elections took effect on Sunday. Senior correspondent Laura Ingle reporting from New York tonight. Good evening, Laura.
Shannon, a legal battle is now underway as the newest mayor of New York City moves forward with plans to allow non-citizens who are here in the country legally to vote in local elections, while the head of the GOP and others lay the groundwork to stop it. The controversial new law, which went into effect Sunday, would allow more than 800,000 non-citizens and dreamers to cast their ballots for mayor, the city council, and other municipal candidates. However, they will not be able to vote for president or governor. A group of Republican elected officials in New York City, along with the head of the GOP, filed a lawsuit in state court this week to block the new law, which they say violates the Constitution. One of the lawsuit's plaintiffs, New York City Council Minority Leader Joe Borelli, spoke with Fox's Eric Shawn, saying citizenship is a right and a privilege.
Allowing people who are citizens of a foreign country, who can vote in foreign elections, who can vote for foreign mayors, for foreign presidents, for foreign prime ministers, to allow those same people to have a say in the long-term debt and taxes and liabilities of New York City is unprecedented. It's doing it in conflict with its own state constitution and its own crystal clear state election law.
The legislation was passed last month by the Democrat majority-led city council and became law this week when New York City Mayor Eric Adams allowed the measure by not issuing a veto. Adams says it is important to give these non-citizens who work in the city a voice.
I believe that people who are here during COVID, our legal residents, they did not flee the city. They stayed here. They provided a service. And I'm proud of this moment for our city, who is a city of diversity.
The Republican National Committee pushing back, issuing a statement which reads in part, American elections should be decided by American citizens. If Democrats can subvert elections this flagrantly in America's largest city, they can do it anywhere. A handful of states do allow non-citizens to vote, while others have laws blocking them from casting ballots. But New York is not one of them. Shannon?
All right, Laura, thank you very much. So let's get to the political debate over this controversy. The Wall Street Journal editorial board says Eric Adams has made his first mistake as New York City's new mayor, estimating that in support of non-citizen voting, New York Democrats hand the GOP a winning political issue. Let's dig in with tonight's Bream Team panel. Fox News contributor Leslie Marshall, along with former Trump 2016 and 2020 senior advisor Bruce Lavelle. Great to see you both tonight.
Yeah. Hi, how's it going?
Okay, so in addition to that piece in the Wall Street Journal, it goes on to say that Democrats are handing Republicans a political issue. Public opinion would probably cut 60-40 against New York's plan, or maybe worse for Democrats. Bruce, how do you think this is going to go over with potential voters?
Well, I think it's sad. And, you know, I think it's Amy Klobuchar, when she introduced the Freedom Bill, I think it was last year, Shannon, the term in there, I think it's on the third line item, says for all citizens, U.S. citizens. She used that term in that bill itself, you know, so I'm kind of perplexed to see that how that the new incoming mayor, and even de Blasio says, oh, my gosh, I wouldn't do that. But, you know, I think it's just a really travesty in our great country because, you know, me being an employer, I've had employees that I helped, two of them do the pathway to citizenship to get to the point to become a citizen to vote. Two of them, one took 7 years, the other one took 5.5 years. So many, new citizens across the country are really upset, like, oh, my gosh. And see, Shannon, the other thing, too, about this is that you're talking about people who are, you know, hundreds of thousands of people in the city of New York. I have a lot of friends, a lot of business partners in New York who are coming in here and voting on infrastructure, school systems, you know, police service, everything that you know, comes around that particular city. And it's not fair for the hardworking taxpayers, small businesses who are on the hook for paying the sales tax, the property tax, ad valorem tax, the payroll tax, you know, who these particular people don't have equity in this system and being able to vote. It's bad. It's very bad.
Writing about this in the Washington Examiner, a commentary piece by Quinn Hillier, he says, vast majorities of all ethnicities consistently support the voter ID requirements that Biden labels as being akin to Jim Crow laws. It is a lead pipe cinch that most believe it is virtually insane to allow, for instance, a citizen of Red China temporarily domiciled in the United States to vote in any U.S. election. All right, Leslie, to be clear, this New York law is about local elections, but, you know, critics say that's how it starts.
Well, I'm against somebody who is not a citizen of the United States voting. Our Constitution is very clear. However, when we use the word subvert, which I find interesting, the Republicans using the word subvert after what we saw on January 6th and continue to hear from some on the right side of the aisle, after we see 19 states come down with 34 pieces of legislation that make it more difficult, especially for people of color in this country, minorities, to vote who are citizens. And I want to add one more thing. To say that people who are not documented don't economically contribute, that is just wrong. Actually, they pay taxes. The employers that hire them pay taxes, so they do financially pay into this system, and that's very well documented. But as far as voting, that is a privilege that is reserved, in my opinion, and the Constitution agrees with me on that, for citizens of the United States.
Very quickly, because the president said today, listen, if the Senate's got to blow up the filibuster, they got to do it to get this election overhaul through. Molly Hemingway, our colleague here, tweets from I'm a reasonable moderate who will unite the country to I will destroy institutions to enable Nancy Pelosi to take over all elections throughout the country in just under a year. Fair assessment or not, you both get 15 seconds. Bruce?
Well, listen, Joe Manchin, he stopped us from going off another steep cliff, Shannon. We're already 29 trillion, headed 30 trillion, and he stopped that. And they get mad and says, well, we're going to go after the filibuster. You know, this is a travesty for the country. So listen, the system is there. Let it work together. If you can't get your way, go back and legislate and come back another day and debate it.
All right, quickly, Leslie.
Gee, I remember when Mitch McConnell blew up Senate rules and also tweaked the filibuster so that he could get 3 Supreme Court justices pushed through during the Trump years, and 8 days, the last one, Amy Coney Barrett, before an election. Look, Democrats do this, Republicans do this, and this is why elections have consequences. The party in power has the power and the ability to do this, to get their legislation through, and that's what people voted for them to do.
Yeah. Okay. Well, and Leslie, to be fair, the late Senator Harry Reid is the one who started dismantling things when it came to judicial nominees in the Senate. And you're right. Both sides decry this. Both sides do this. So we're going to watch and see, if Senators Manchin and Sinema can be convinced this time. Thank you all.
2022 will tell, Shannon. 2022 is going to tell. Yeah. The America First candidates are on the horizon. They're coming.
Thank you, guys.